I know, right? What the smeg can I add to the whole Final Fantasy VII is amazeballs conversation? Especially if you're a subscriber of mine, you'll already know that Final Fantasy VII is my favourite game of all time. Well, brace yourself, because this is the first episode in many that I plan on making of a series of 10 out of 10 games, in my opinion, of course. And what better a game to start with than my all-time favourite, and FYI, I'm lumping the original game in with the remake and rebirth, so it's with Final Fantasy VII. So let's go. From its original 1997 release and even before then, Final Fantasy VII was massively hyped, anticipated, and it lived up to all of its hype. It's crazy to think that development started in 1994 for the Super Nintendo, and famously Squaresoft, now known as Square Enix, fell out with Nintendo and they moved development over to the Sony PlayStation, and the rest is history. Not only did Final Fantasy VII bring JRPGs into the mainstream, but it was and is just such a damn good game. Of course, certain aspects of the game haven't aged well, like the graphics for example, but the gameplay is still solid, and the story for the time is very ambitious, epic and grand, with its use of FMV sequences. With great music and gameplay, which yes also includes random battles and turn-based combat, the game just glowed in everything that it was trying to do. But it had the materia system, which is great fun to muck about with, using different weapons and different materia slots that gain XP at different rates, etc., different combinations. It was really cool. Plus, the summons were so damn epic. But if you are summoning the Knights of the Round, you better be seated comfy, because that takes a while. Characters are also timeless, like the confused Merc Cloud, the swearbox that is Barrett, there's Tifa, Aerith, Red 13, or Nanaki to use his real name, there's Yuffie, Cid, Vincent, and the slimy bastard Katesith, and even the support characters like Jesse, Wedge, Biggs, Don Corneo, even though the dude's a big perv.
What the hell is even that?
And on that note, not the pervy one, but the Don Corneo one, the villains are also really good and give you a great reason to hate them, like Scarlet and Heidegger, for example. And of course, one of, if not the best villains in gaming, Sephiroth. Getting Final Fantasy VII as a kid was an amazing experience, and I still play it every year, but the remake in 2020 just turned it all up to 11. I originally played it on PS4 and was off from work because of COVID. COVID-19! I was paid 80% of my wage to stay home for 3.5 months doing nothing but games. It's also when I started my YouTube channel too, so that was pretty cool. Remake brought the city of Midgard to life like never before, and it was so well done. The combat is a mix between fast-paced action and some minor turn-based actions, and swapping between Cloud, Barrett and Tifa and Aerith on the fly is amazing. It's just damn good combat. The music once again is phenomenal, using the old tracks but modernizing them in certain ways, but not too much that they lose their personality. Square Enix did put some Kingdom Hearts level story, fate, destiny bollocks in the game, which in my opinion is the only drawback to Remake and Rebirth, but other than that, Remake is a great game with 26 side quests, mini games like the squats which came over from the original game, whack-a-box where you whack boxes, believe it or not, and there is also pull-ups and darts. There's also a Battle Coliseum and the Shinra HQ Battle Simulator, which is pretty cool. The game has a great story that takes place over 18 chapters, which is, for all intents and purposes, the same as the original in terms of story, but massively expanded, and includes, yes, that wanky fate bollocks.
You are too weak to save anyone. I'm waiting, Cloud.
Now on to Rebirth, the second part of the Remake trilogy, and my god in heaven, this game is incredible. It does what Remake did, but times 1000. Not only is it open world areas, 7 of them in fact, well, 5 technically, a couple of the areas are more just for the story, but there is so much more to do in Rebirth. It makes Remake look like a demo. There's even an in-game card game called The Queen's Blood that has deck building using 145 cards that are collected by buying them, winning them, or unlocking them as prizes or quest rewards. You can unlock and change costumes for the characters.
Hello, nurse.
Ride scooter thingies around Costa del Sol. There's different types of chocobo that can do different things for traversal. There are 36 side quests, but they are, to be fair, most of them are pretty decent. There are 88 collectibles to find for your friend Johnny from Remake. There's a pirate treasure to find, and so much more. Yes, a lot of the open world activities are essentially repetitive and do the same thing, but a little bit differently, and there's like the Ubisoft towers to find and stuff. But to be honest, the more time I get to spend in this world doing that stuff, the better, and they are optional. You don't have to do them. Now, there's also the mini-games that do return from Remake, but there's now 21 of them in Rebirth, which is insane. Yes, some are mandatory for progressing the story, but the mini-games have been a part of gaming for donkeys of years, man, and it ain't the end of the world, and most of them are optional. I honestly don't understand the hate for the mini-games. Like, they're there, some of them are pretty cool. The whole Golden Saucer thing, they did really, really well. It's just epic, in my opinion. The story takes place over 14 chapters here, which is 4 less than Remake, yes, but Rebirth is over twice as long as Remake. All the locations from the original game are realised and recreated beautifully here in Rebirth. I was even shocked that Calm was a huge town when in the original game it's essentially a small village, and that just kicked all kinds of ass. I could go on, and yes, I treat Remake and Rebirth essentially as one game. I just cannot wait for the third part, and I know that I am biased because of my nostalgia for the original, but it is my opinion, like I said. All 3 of the original Final Fantasy VII game, the Remake and Rebirth, are 100% 10 out of 10 for me. They are not perfect, they are not for everyone, but surely and objectively Final Fantasy VII is one of the biggest gaming juggernauts in the gaming industry. I don't know how people can deny that. Also, the amount of game you get with Rebirth is making a lot of other game releases over the last couple of years look bad. For me, definitely a 10 out of 10. But please let me know in the comments down below if you think it's 10 out of 10, what games are 10 out of 10 for you. And as always, thank you very much for watching.